Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to The Wise Show, the Wellness Initiative for Senior Education, brought to you by New Jersey Prevention Network and Goodwill Easter Seals Miami Valley, Yamada of Dayton. I am your host, Adina Wingfield, Prevention Specialist with Goodwill Easter Seals, and I have my coworker here today, Gail Daffler, and also special guest, Bruce Barcelo with the Atomos Board. In addition, joining us, we have the Community Services for the Deaf interpreter, Mary Vanis. Thank you all so much for being with us today. We're asking our audience to please have a piece of paper handy and pen so we can take notes as we share together. But before we begin our segment, this is a judgment-free zone. Please feel free to talk as family and friends and share this episode with those you know. We are here as support to share information to help us all thrive as we age. So again, welcome, Bruce.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. Our objectives for today, we have an agenda for our episode that covers an enhanced quality of life. And some of our outcomes will start. We're going to examine new ways to improve and enhance the quality of life, familiarity with strategies to maintain a healthy lifestyle. We're going to also talk about stress triggers and increase awareness of our personal stress triggers. And we'll close with true values, bringing awareness of how our values influence us. We also have some specific outcomes for today we'd like to show you. The purpose also is to find new ways of improving and enhancing our quality of life as we grow older, which is so important. We're gaining greater familiarity with strategies for maintaining a healthier lifestyle. We want to increase awareness of our personal stress triggers and then really take personal notice of our personal values and how they influence the way we think and act. So Bruce, can you tell me a little bit more about your position with Atomos and some of the things that are going on with Atomos?
Sure. So my position at Atomos, I'm a program coordinator with Atomos, and so I work on the prevention side of Atomos. And so my role there is multifunction. You never know what I'm going to do from day to day. Really, I do a lot of different things with the budgeting part of Atomos and prevention. One of the most enjoyable things that I'm able to do is site observation. So we fund over 40 different prevention programs that range from preschool programs to senior adult programs, and I'm able to go visit those programs, and that's just wonderful because I'm able to see the great work that's going on in the community. So I love doing that. And I would also mention, because I think it's real important as we begin to age, that I not only have this role at Atomos, but I work for a company out of New York called Solder Technology as the Director of Implementation. Awesome. And I teach at the Boonshoff School of Medicine at Wright State.
Wow, thank you so much for being with us today. We're so glad to have you here. So I want to talk to the audience. We're going to talk a little bit more about what's good for you. Okay, so we have 6 strategies of healthy aging. At the top of the list is accentuating the positive. And I just want to ask our panelists here today, how do you accentuate the positive? We'll start with Gail.
That is a really big challenge for me, Dina. I know when I wake up every morning, I'm not in the best of mood. Aww. So sometimes, like when I think of accentuating the positive in my life, I try to just slowly turn my thoughts around and go, instead of saying it's going to be a horrible day, I tell myself I'm going to have the best day I can. It might not be perfect, right? But it's like I'm going to try to have the best day that I can. And that's really helped me out a lot, because our thoughts are powerful, aren't they?
Very. That reminds me of like positive affirmations. You can get a Post-it note and put it on the mirror and say, I'm going to have a great day. I had a friend that did a message for everyone on Facebook. She said, you are going to have a great Monday, because all of us get a case of the Mondays from time to time, don't we? It is Tuesday, right? But anyway, but I just want to ask you also, how do you accentuate the positive?
Yeah, for me, it's just mindfulness moments. It's just throughout the day, taking that time to be mindful of my surroundings, being thankful for life, and what the opportunities that I have, and the realities that there are so many. I just one quick thing. Years ago, I worked with someone that had spent almost a year in the hospital, and we were driving past a hospital, and he looked up and he said, I can't pass a hospital and not think of those individuals who are, there are people around us who are hurting every day. And so we need to be mindful and thankful for where we are, and of those that are having a situation that is a lot worse than ours.
That's so true. Practicing gratefulness is very important to me. And I like that mindfulness piece, just centering and finding a place to just rest and relax yourself so that you can have a good day. But gratefulness is so important to find out the good. What's good, right? What are the great things? I found out there's a study about gratefulness that helps to reduce our blood pressure. When we express gratitude, we can just relax. And there's healing that happens in our bodies even, just for that one thing. So we're gonna, there's another part here that says, taking care of your body. And so in taking care of our body, just wanna start with you, Gail. What is like one thing that helps you to take care of your body?
Oh my goodness. I love to walk, Dina, and that is one thing that has really helped me out tremendously, whether that's walking for 5 minutes, whether that's walking for an hour. That any minutes that you walk, it's healing for your body. It reduces endorphins in your body. It helps us to be more relaxed. It helps us deal with stress in our lives. And not only we can help out our neighbors that way, we can maybe ask our neighbor, do you want to go on a walk?
Yes.
We could take our dogs on a walk too. That helps them out as well. So when we do that, I think it's healing in a lot of different ways. That's one of my favorite things to do.
To walk, yes. Walking is great. Great to keep our blood moving and flowing. One of my favorite things in taking care of the body is drinking water. And I heard Bruce talk about that earlier. Drinking water is just such a powerful way to cleanse the body and make sure we have our adequate intake per day. We just want to make sure that we count our body weight and take half of our body weight in ounces each day. All right, Bruce, anything that you'd like to share about the body and taking care
Yeah,
of it?
I would just encourage everyone to find a physical activity that you enjoy. Mine was racquetball, and I was told 10 years ago that because of my back, I had a surgeon say, you're done. And I said, yeah, go fish. And I've continued to play, and because I enjoy it so much. So find something that you enjoy and do it.
All right. So we're going to go back to this picture about the body. There's so many things on the list, and I'll have Gail just go through a few of those and share with our audience about that.
Absolutely. As we know, nutrition helps our body so much. So making sure we select those great things, including water and food that help to replenish our body. Exercise, movement. As Bruce said, find those things that you love to do, that you enjoy. That's, if you can find that, you're on your way right there. I really want to talk about sleeping though, Dina.
Okay.
Sleepy. When we think about our pandemic, what we've been through in the last, year or so, how has that influenced us? are some of you maybe experiencing, maybe you're not sleeping as well at night, maybe you're more worried about things, but finding out like what you can do to help get that balance in your life so you can sleep more. The average person that's 55 and above needs 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. So it's really good if we try to find that balance and get some more sleep. And so some of the things that we can do too, what are some other extra things that we can do for our bodies to help influence that sleep?
Wow. Get some sunshine. Sunshine is so important to get that vitamin D in our bodies and make sure we get fresh air. It is so important to do that. And again, we see that there's exercise on here. All of these things go together for wholeness and wellness. So let's talk about staying mentally active. And there's also this part I love, nurturing close relationships. It is so important to come out of isolation and depression, which causes depression and loneliness. Reaching out to family is very important to practice some of those things like positive thinking. But I will include join into the technology movement. If you're afraid, ask a friend, ask a neighbor, ask some of your grandchildren. They're ready to help to try a new thing. So it is good to, if you're not able to meet in person just yet, to try and FaceTime and learn even how to, the technology called Zoom. There's a lot of things going on with Zoom these days, so I know you've heard of it, but possibly Google it and look up ways of how you can use your computers more. And I'm going to ask a question to Bruce about the mind. What are some other things that we can practice to help us with our day-to-day?
Well, I want to jump back to sleep for just a second.
Sure.
And I would encourage people, because it's real easy to get in the habit of watching television and then going right to bed.
Right.
I know for us, we've made a real concerted effort to turn the television off at least 2 hours before bedtime, and then have no screen, because that light can impact your sleep. So no screen time 2 hours before television, and then just either to be in conversation or read before bedtime. So that's been real helpful.
I like that.
So again, as we start talking about the mind, it's much of what you've said, just having relationships. And I would really be negligent if I didn't talk about the Get Help Now app with Montgomery County. It's have someone help you download from on your phone an app, which is the Get Help Now app, that will have a lot of different helps for mindfulness and different things.
Is it also on the website as well?
On the website as well,
Yeah.
absolutely, yes, thank you.
Okay. And so that's just awesome to continue to do. With healthy aging, we need to continue to work our minds through positive thinking, using coping strategies, developing more insight. Goals is one of our, that's one of our favorite things, when we can sit down and like have a vision board and journals and find out what's exciting, what's new, what would I like to try next. So having goals, even if there's 2, maybe 4 if we're getting ambitious, but have something set to look ahead, using positive images, and we're going to avoid negative thoughts. Learning to become more assertive and not aggressive. Because I know all of these things with the pandemic, mask on, mask off, which one is it? You know, how am I supposed to get on the elevator now? I'm not sure. There's a lot of different questions. And so we just want to take a step back and mentally focus and know that we can just pause. Everybody, can we do that? Let's just take a deep breath in. Ooh, and out. You know, take another deep breath in. And out. And so that all leads to the spirit, you know. We're spirit as well. And those of us who pray, we can use prayer and meditation to realign our mind and body, our spirit. It's very important that we feel loved as people. right? To have meaningful relationships. Look at all of this list. It's so powerful. One of the huge ones that stands out is forgiveness. That's a tough one. Sometimes people struggle with that because there's a lot of things that have gone on, a lot of pain these last couple of years. Am I correct?
I think forgiveness is just tough to learn. What is that? And how do we practice forgiveness?
Oh my goodness. It's something that we offer people. One thing I've heard is like unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to go from here to die. And it's just not true. Forgiveness is not only for you, the people, but it's really for yourself. So you can heal and move forward. So not holding on to things, but giving people a chance to be human. And in their humanity, allow people to make mistakes and realize we could be in the same shoes at any time. That's how I practice forgiveness. But that was an important one to me to help to move forward. So you can stay in that good energy and in that gratitude. Right. Anybody have anything else on that list that stood out to you?
No, other than I would just certainly highlight what you said, because harboring that negativity is just going to become toxic. Toxic to your mind and toxic to your body then. So it's just vitally important that we find a way to let it go.
Ah, yes, that's good.
The two that kind of go together to me are having a meaningful relationship and feeling connected. And when I think about meaningful relationships, sometimes I think we're so focused on the exterior relationships, you know, with our neighbors or family, but making sure you have a great relationship with yourself. You know, that you're taking care of you and your needs, but also in feeling connected with people. That we've had that huge loss with the pandemic, and I know that's affected my life, where the things that I was used to doing, I wasn't able to do anymore, and finding those things that you love to do, and talking to your friends, your family. And venturing out and trying new things, and seeing how that works now. So I know a lot of times I'm outside. I might be talking to my neighbors outside since it's nice weather. So making sure that you practice different, communication in different ways and connectedness.
That's amazing. And inside of all this, you said some positive things, but sometimes we pick up bad habits as we try to transition from pain and the pandemic. And some of those bad habits may have become smoking for some of us. Maybe it was drinking or medication misuse. But right now, we're going to turn it over to Bruce Barcelo, again with the Atomos board, and he's going to tell us more about becoming smoke-free.
Yeah, great. So let's just look at a couple different things. One of the things that we first will look at is answering the first question, why do so many people smoke? Because the reality is, we can go past this one about talking about Atomos. I do think it is real. We have a great vision statement. Yeah, the reality is that 90% of individuals that smoke are smokers because they're addicted and because they started smoking at an early age, right? I mean, they began smoking typically because of their friends were doing it, because of the advertisements, all of those things were part of their youth. And so with that, because nicotine is so addictive, I mean, when you look at addictive chemicals and how addictive they are, nicotine is on the same level as heroin and cocaine. It's just absolute. Alcohol is way down here. I can't tell you the number of individuals that I've helped quit smoking that were able to quit alcohol years ago. The two founders of AA both died from tobacco-related diseases. So most individuals are smoking, and they'll say, yeah, I smoke because I enjoy smoking. But the reality is they're buying cigarettes pack at a time because they're thinking, over 80% of smokers are thinking about quitting sometime. Maybe not today, but sometime. After this pack, I'm going to quit. After this, I'm going to quit. They're thinking about quitting. So it's because it is absolutely so addictive that they are thinking about it. Ohio has one of the highest smoking rates in the country. Montgomery County has one of the highest smoking rates in the state of Ohio. 23% of adults in Montgomery County smoke. And the reality is, because of that, smoking is the #1 cause, preventable cause of death in Montgomery County. I mean, those individuals wouldn't be dead if it weren't for the fact that they were smoking, which is a real tragedy, isn't it? Yes. I mean, it just is. Smoking kills almost 500,000 Americans every year. And when you look at that, you'll see that smoking impacts the body literally from the top of the head, the brain with the stroke, because nicotine is a vasoconstrictor. It constricts blood vessels. So when we look at the brain, that's what a stroke is. The blood vessels constrict in the brain, and when that happens, blood vessels burst, and that creates a stroke. To the cancers, over 16 different cancers, oral cancers, on and on and on. Diabetes, extremely important, impactful for those as we age with diabetes. So that can really impact then everything in a person's body. So that's tremendously important. So we get a lot of questions then from all ages about vaping. So vapes make a lot of claims. This is a pathetic one, isn't it? Biddy sticks. A vape a day keeps the pulmonologist away. Well, that's just a ridiculous claim, right?
It is.
That if you vape, it's going to keep a pulmonologist away. That's pathetic. The next one, here's one, take freedom back. So they've been able to make claims since they hit the market, that it's harmless water vapor and that it's absolutely a safe product to use. And that's not the reality whatsoever. The reality is that, especially with the new products that are on the market, there's a very high nicotine content. If you look at this new slide, look at that. The pink line is the nicotine that's delivered to the bloodstream of a regular cigarette. So you can see almost as soon as you take a hit from a regular cigarette, nicotine hits the blood and gets to the brain real quick. Well, that light kind of aqua line is the early e-cigarettes. Well, you can see that it didn't deliver much nicotine at all, right? So if you were trying to get a nit fix from an early e-cigarette, you weren't getting anything at all. Well, look at that mustard line. That's the most popular e-cigarette, the Juul. You can see it delivers more nicotine to the brain than a combustible cigarette.
Right.
And Juul was very proud in saying that it delivered almost 90% to the lungs, that it would deliver its product to the body. Well, a combustible cigarette only delivers about 2 milligrams of nicotine to the body. Because, I mean, how do we smoke? You hit it, and you take it away from the body, and then you take another drag, and you take it away from the body. So you don't get all of it, right?
Right.
But a Juul, you hit it. This, by the way, is a Juul. So you hit it, and you take it away. It's not, there's no secondhand drift, there's nothing, until you hit it again. So every time it only delivers nicotine when you hit it. So all of it is getting, and 58 milligrams of nicotine, it's all going deep into your lungs. So this is a much more efficient nicotine delivery system. While I've got the camera, I'm going to show you several other e-cigarette devices because they're really clever. And because they're so popular at school, kids are buying a lot of different things. So like popular with the girls, this one looks like a lipstick container. It's not. It is a vape device. This looks like and is a regular pen, but it is a vaping device. The e-juice goes in here. This looks like you use the M water or that type of thing. It's a vaping device. Again, this is one of the most popular. It's a disposable, so you use it and you just toss it out, called Puff Bar, and this is watermelon flavored. My watch is a vaping device. You hit right here. My backpack.
No. Really?
I just hit right off of this, and the device, my vape is right inside there, concealed in there. So there's more and more. There's hoodies. I didn't bring my hoodie today, but all these. One last one real quick. So I was invited by the government of UK to come to one of their conferences recently. And UK is a huge proponent of e-cigarettes. And they say that adults need flavors. Well, here's one of a newer brand here in the United States, Random. And you probably can't see it, but it's SpongeBob SquarePants. I don't know that adults in the United States need SpongeBob SquarePants. Also, what's different in the United States is it has a very high nicotine content. They don't have that in the UK. Here's the other thing that's a huge concern for us here in the United States. Don't know that you can see that, but 2,400 hits on this puppy.
Oh,
So in the cigarette, again, combustible cigarette, there's about 20 hits on the combustible cigarette. You burn it down to the filter, and then you're done with it. This, you're hitting it the same amount as you would as if you had 4 packs of cigarettes. These are dangerous, a real concern.
Is there any research on either the short-term or the long-term healthcare effects of the vapes?
So, we don't know the long-term effects, but in this short amount of time that they've been around, we know that there are respiratory, there are individuals that have been desperately ill, young individuals that have had to go through double lung transplants. There are, it's been what we call the disease of EVALI, a respiratory disease that have made them desperately ill, or deaths, over 64 deaths related to vaping. So we're early in the process, but we never would have expected those types of issues with combustible cigarettes, and we're already identifying real concerns with vaping, and we're just new into this process.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
So how do we become smoke-free here?
So how do we
Yeah.
become smoke-free?
Yeah.
Here's the great news for the main audience that we have today, because I will talk to individuals my age. I'm about ready to turn, I'm going to tell my age. I'm about to turn 68. And so 68 and older who are smoking that say, I'm too old, I've done too much damage, there's no reason for me to quit. Poppycock. You're never too old to quit. Because, and here's the great news, the body starts repairing itself as soon as you quit smoking. Literally, within hours of quitting smoking. Respiration starts to repair. Within 24 hours of quitting, carbon monoxide. What do we know about carbon monoxide?
My goodness.
It's a deadly gas. If you want to commit suicide, you can do it with carbon monoxide. Deadly gas. It's one of the ingredients that is in combustible cigarettes. It's gone from your body 24 hours after you quit smoking. The body starts repairing itself. So you have every reason in the world to quit smoking.
That's right, and also every reason as older adults using our wisdom to share with our youth, even if you may be addicted, to say, this is the problem here, young person, to my grandchild. Share with them what you've learned today. This is a wealth of information. Can you tell us more about the X program?
Yeah, so the other thing is that we know that using something to help you quit, a behavioral health program, increases your chances of quitting by over 50%. And we have one at Atomos that's absolutely free and the best in the country because it's in partnership with the Mayo Clinic.
Correct.
What do you know about the Mayo Clinic? It's the gold standard. So, it is absolutely free for everyone in Montgomery County. We will provide you all the information. Go to Montgomery County, Atomos, and we have all the information. But it has different things that can help you. Your choice. You can use them all. You can use 1, 2, 3, or all of them. So, you can go online and have the X plan, which means you can have the computer that can help you with interactive tools, videos, all of that. Then you can use the phone and have a coach that will help you, talk you through the process of quitting. They are all trained. All their coaches are trained through the Mayo Clinic. There's a text program, so if you want to get text messages, you can have that. There's something called the X Community, the largest community of individuals who have quit in the world that you can tap into and talk to online. And one last thing, and that's medications. So the other thing that can improve your quitting chances by 50% is using nicotine replacement therapy. When you sign up to become an X, we will provide you with 2 months of nicotine replacement therapy free. That is sent right to your door. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to get a prescription. When you sign up, it comes right to your door. You can't beat that. So, it's a great program. We hope that you'll sign up. If you or someone that you know is still smoking, vaping, dipping, any tobacco product, they're eligible to sign up for free.
Amazing,
Amazing.
amazing program, the X program. Wow. So we know that many people have been smoking because of stress and all the different things going on with the pandemic, but that brings us to stress triggers. Again, it influences our thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and then there's results that come through that. And as we discuss stress a little more, just think about at home, one thing that really stresses you out. We're all doing this together. There's got to be something. We're not always positive. Well, some people are now. You have those few that are always, good morning. All right. But just think about one thing that really stresses you out. And I'll tell you, some of mine are just negative things on the television or radio. Maybe it's too much talk about the pandemic. Some things that just bother us. You know, I'm learning to turn it off. So I encourage those of you who are bothered by things you're hearing, go ahead and shut it off. Don't look at the social media all the time. Take a break. So how about you, Gail? What are some things that you are trying to recover from or recuperate stress-wise?
You know, just everyday worries, you know, and thinking about like employment, about money, food on the table. Those things, you know, can be a little overwhelming from day to day. And when I think about, like, I'm very lucky I have a great support system, and very thankful that I have wonderful people to reach out to. But, you know, making sure you have those trusted people in your life. Mm-hmm. And if you need to talk, finding those resources that are valuable in our community that you can go to, that's a huge thing.
Absolutely. And there's some myths, Bruce, associated with tobacco use and mental health concerning stress. And I just wanted to, number one here, it says that smoking reduces stress.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's so common. I mean, smokers all the time say, I can't quit smoking. This isn't a good time. There's too much stress. Yeah, well, tell me a time in your life where you're not going to have stress. Good luck with that, because we're all going to have stress. So, I mean, the reality is smoking doesn't relieve stress. It causes stress. Mm-hmm. It causes stress both physically, because it elevates blood pressure, and psychological, because you're always thinking about, do I have enough smokes to last through the weekend, through the blizzard, through this and that, and financially, right?
That's right.
Because
yes.
Smoking now, if you're brand loyal, is almost $7 a pack.
Yeah.
In 5 years, it's almost $12,000. Mm-hmm. Listen, if you are strapped for cash, $12,000 in 5 years, I bet you could use that for something pretty significant. So if finances is something that is stressing you, then that causes stress. If you're spending it on cigarettes when you need to spend it on things that are important day-to-day expenses.
That's so true, Bruce. I mean, really. And we just need to find a way to reduce our stress triggers, right, Gail?
Absolutely.
In all of this, to our audience, we want to thank you for listening, but continue to identify the triggers. Avoid them whenever possible. Go ahead and plan how you're going to deal with your stress triggers. I want you to prioritize. Create a balance between work and play. Develop a positive attitude instead of the I can't or how can I. Refrain from blame. We all do that sometimes, don't we? Welcome challenges and obstacles and as opportunities for growth. So I wanted to say that, but also we need to develop our communication skills and assertiveness techniques, learn effective conflict resolution strategies, flexibility, take care of yourself, your physical needs, your emotional and spiritual. Self-care is even a coalition right now, a part of the coalition.
Right,
A
yes.
committee.
They sure-
And so it's important we take time to care for ourselves. So just know that we need to reduce stress. And as we get toward the end of this segment, I want to talk to us a little bit about our values.
Great.
What do you value, Gail, more so now than you did when you were a teenager?
Well, for sure. I was just looking at some pictures of myself with my family as a teenager. And it's interesting. I value my family more than what I did as a teenager. But I'm sure that happens to a lot of, people who are teenagers that probably didn't value their family as much. But my personal story is I have better ties with my family, and that's something that they've helped me to just to grow. To feel connected, and just I value them, and that's something that as I get older, I have deeper ties with them.
Absolutely. And finding out what we value is so important. How about you, Bruce? Especially with this pandemic and everything now, what do you value even more now than your younger years?
So I could ramble about so many. I'm going to say time. I remember as a child growing up in the plains of Kansas in the heat of summer thinking, oh my gosh, these days are so long. And thinking that that those days, that a day would never end. Now it seems like days are flying by. And so I value every day. I don't take a moment for granted because I realize that I probably have fewer days in front of me than I do that it's behind me. So I'm going to be grateful for every moment that I have in front.
Oh man, that's so powerful. Thank you so much for that is a great place to just say, be grateful. We all, it's a great time to know that life is valuable. Everybody matters. This is such a time to reflect on what's important and what matters most. And so it's just been a pleasure having you here today, Bruce, and for all of your wisdom, all of the information that you've shared. Just thank you so much for coming. And Gail, it's always great working with you. And so our show is concluding now, and we thank you all so much for watching. We're going to go to a podcast, and it will be available sometime this week. We share that on our YouTube page at Goodwill, Easter Seals, Miami Valley. So thank you all again so much for tuning in, and be well. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Goodwill Easter Seals Miami Valley podcast. Our partners, Yamada of Dayton, are not with us today, but we miss them and want to shout out to Tamara and Michael.
Hey, Tamara and Michael. We're sorry you weren't here with us, but we sure did miss you.
And so our program is WISE, the Wellness Initiative for Senior Education. And we just had an awesome show where we had a guest speaker, Bruce Barcelo. So everyone, please make sure you tune in to datv.org and watch find out when we have the replay dates. But at Goodwill Easter Seals, also, we have prevention specialists. That's what I am. My name is Adina Wingfield, and I have here with me my co-workers, Gail Daffler and Trent Smith. And right now, we're going to start with a quick thought about medication safety. There's a lot going on in our community, and it's very important that we share with you. Some of this will be review for many of you, but for those who haven't heard our message, we'd love for you to hear more about what we do with our program, Generation RX.
All right, so hi everyone, I'm Trent Smith, and I am here to talk a little bit about Generation RX, which is our medication safety campaign. This is a wonderful program that we share with all sorts of people in different areas, and with the WISE, we're working with WISE today, so we're going to talk a little bit about older folks who are dealing with their medication. So one of the first things I want to say is that being your own health advocate is the most important thing. You are the most important person of your healthcare team. Taking time to actually really talk to your doctors about your medications is really important. Learning about your medications and making sure that you understand them. Keeping a complete record. It's always a great idea. Keep that record with you somehow that you can bring to your doctor so you're aware of how much you're taking. Even when your dosages change, you can keep that going. And you can even get online or even keep it in a little notebook. Some people are savvy and put it in their phones. But having that when you go to your doctor's appointment is a great idea.
What about when I go to my dentist, Trent?
Yes, also, because many times dentists will actually prescribe medication if you're having some kind of dental work. That's that's great. Thank you.
So true.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so you guys, that's, any of those things that we want to do to make sure that you're taking care of yourself when it comes to your own medications, and understanding your medications. So we have like some basic medication practices that we follow, okay? And this is to avoid any kind of medication misuse, which is really important, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because medication is easily misused.
Absolutely, absolutely. And not on purpose. A lot of times it just happens. So what we want to talk about today is actually doing a little bit of three different things. It's basically how to store your medication, right? How to identify your medication, your use, and the best way to use your medications, and also how to dispose of your medication safely, right? So we talk about medication misuse. I think I used that word, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And one of those things is that people, may take too much than prescribed. Our society is unfortunately a pill-taking society, and we think taking a pill is going to make it better. So we want to avoid taking more than you actually prescribed. Another misuse is taking medication for a different reason. Have you, there's times when people find a medication might, keep them up, and so they'll take that medication just to keep them up and going during the daytime. And that would be considered misuse. And sharing and taking someone else's medication, even with the best intentions, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what about if me and you have the same exact prescription? Isn't that okay?
Well, no, and this is why, is because first of all, if I give you my medication, then I'm not going to have enough for me, right? Also, it may be the same medication, but it may not be the same dosage. We need to be very careful about, sharing those medications with each other.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have your medication, then your doctor needs to know that you need more. So we always encourage, just try to reach out to your doctor and get more medication. So we talked about, not sharing medications and reading those. You need to want to make sure to read your prescription bottles correctly and understand that. Hey, is it important for us to, ask our doctor questions?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Who else could we ask? Who else could we ask if we have questions?
Where would I go? That's a great question.
Maybe the pharmacist.
Yes. Yes. Ding, 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 you're right, you're right. The pharmacist can be our best friend when we don't understand something about our medications. Take the time, give them a call, ask them when you pick them up, check over the label if you don't understand something. They will certainly help you understand it. And storage. Well, so storage of our medication. Best place to store, someone give me a good answer here. Best place.
In the secret compartment behind my refrigerator.
Oh, the coffee table.
Okay, Gail, yes. Adina,
Why not? I can see everything I need on my coffee table.
and so can everybody else.
Okay. What should I do,
Yeah,
Trent?
You should take that medication and you should put it someplace where it's safely locked and put away someplace. That's out of the hands of, people who might be, want to use that medication or out of kids' hands and out of the animals, away from the animals. Coffee table, I think my dog might get into it if it was on my coffee table, so.
For sure.
Yeah. So, so make sure it's up tight, it's locked someplace, or at least up high and out of sight is the best way. And the last thing was disposal. Medication disposal has become really important. Getting it out of society. If you're not using it, if you're done, we need to get rid of it, don't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, so many places have medication disposal boxes that you can just go into. Pharmacies. One of our great place to find that information is something called the Get Help Now app. Yeah, it's Get Help Now.
Get help now.
Get Help Now. And you can just look on your phone and look for Get Help Now Montgomery County. And it gives you a whole list of all sorts of information, but it also, in that information is some drop boxes that you can just drop off your medications. The other way is...
And they're at most police stations, right,
Yeah,
Trent?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Police stations, and you can find them. You might have even seen them at your pharmacies. When you go into your pharmacy, you might notice.
Right. So some of the, let's say, local pharmacies, including like CVS or Walgreens, have them, as well as, most of the police stations have them right in the lobby, which is really nice, and most of our hospitals do as
Yes.
well. So
Exactly.
go into our hospital pharmacies; they have them there. Please use them like last year, one of our DEA take back days here in Montgomery County, there was 11,000 pounds of medication that was disposed of during that event. So please make sure you make this one of your habits is looking through your house, seeing what medications you no longer use, and disposing of them in a safe way.
Right.
So is there another way we can dispose of medications?
We can. We at Goodwill, we have some wonderful, these pouches, and they are medication deactivation pouches.
That's right.
And they're wonderful. They, you just open them up, you have a little charcoal base situation in there that helps deactivate the medication. You just put a little water in it, and you pour up to 45 pills, up to 6 ounces of fluid, or 6 pain patches, or nicotine patches, anything like that. In there, you just seal it back up and shake it up, and it deactivates everything. And the great thing I like about it is that it does not, it's eco-friendly, so it doesn't hurt our environment. Whereas if we flush it down the toilet or throw it into the landfills, things like that, it's going to get into our soil, into water, even into our food system if we're not careful. So that is something you can really do. And at Goodwill Easter Seals, you just contact Goodwill, and you just ask wanting to needing some of those pouches. We have lots of them, don't we?
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's say you go to one of our retail stores. All of them currently have a new supply of the medication disposal pouches. You can go into the stores and ask for one. Or if you want to contact our prevention team directly, feel free to call me. My first name's Gail. And our prevention telephone number is area code 937-684-0316. And we will figure out if you would like to come pick up a supply, or if we need to mail this to you. So that's something, as long as you live in Montgomery County, we can make sure that you get that supply as well. So we would love to make sure that you have those in your home.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, yeah, so that is our medication safety program, and we want to encourage everyone that's listening. If you need those resources, you just reach out to us, and I'm just always happy to share that information.
Thank you so much, Trent.
You're welcome.
Well, I'm going to take this time again to shout out Yamada of Dayton, Urban Minority Alcoholism and Drug Abuse Outreach Programs, where we have our partners, Michael Mann and Tamara Cantrell, and Dr. Marquita Robinson is their director. I want to highlight some of their programs. They have a reentry program called Circle of Recovery. CFRO is designed to assist offenders reintegrating back into their communities with becoming productive citizens of that community. The Yamada of Dayton works closely with Montgomery County Adult People Authorities and Probation, as well as the Montgomery County Reentry Coalition. Participants engage in services such as alcohol, drug counseling, relapse prevention, case management, linkage, life skills, job readiness, and client advocacy to help ease the transition from incarceration to society and reduce potential recidivism. Community Transition Program. There's another program also, but connects individuals with prior to release from incarceration. Upon the release, participants will engage in transitional benefit for drug and alcohol treatment and assistance with recovery support services through the Recovery Care Management linkage and other resources. Look up Yamada of Dayton, that's UMADAOP of Dayton, for more information. You can also email them at yamadaofdayton@gmail.com.
Excellent. Just what valuable services that they provide, making sure people can stay stabilized, stay balanced, and reach their personal goals. And that's something that, we all want that in our lives, and just to have that support there, if you are facing some challenges, that you can go to them and talk to them and get that linkage.
That's absolutely right. They even have treatment, outpatient treatment, recovery support services, and much more. So again, Yamada of Dayton are our partners that teach WISE, and that's for our older adult program. And again, our program is designed to reduce the incidence, prevalence, and negative consequences associated with alcohol and drug abuse, misuse among our elderly population. And so we are happy to provide more information, and we do that through our television show, which airs on DATV, and we have much more for you about that later. But next, we want to talk to you. There's a lot going on with the pandemic, right? We're able to take our mask off. Now we may have to put them back on. We're doing that even now, precautionary, because we're dealing with the variant. And so people may have questions and things about what do I do now? How do I handle myself, or where do I get a vaccination? So, Gail, I believe you have a tip sheet.
I absolutely do. Thank you, Dina. And that's one thing, especially since we're constantly talking about medication safety, I think all of us need to have that one-on-one talk with our physician. Is this vaccination, is this a good choice for me? And looking at medical history, current medication you're taking, or any other concerns that you might have, but having that conversation with your medical team, what a huge value. So that's one thing our prevention team encourages everybody to do, because that is your personal choice. So I do want to share with you some of the upcoming vaccination clinics. Our public health has several, which is wonderful. They're ongoing, and it looks like there's a few upcoming this week. On Wednesday, July 21st, there's some walk-ins at Haynes Children's Center at 3304 North Main Street in Dayton. There we'll have the vaccination clinic from 11 to 2. It looks like this is open to anybody 12 and above. in age. So that is something that I think is very valuable as well. On Thursday, July 22nd, from 4 to 7 p.m. at Liberty High School, walk-ins are welcome. That's what I love that. You can come in there at 140 North Kiwi Street in Dayton and receive the vaccination. The next one that we want to feature is Saturday, July 21st from 4 to 7 p.m. Our friends at the Dakota Center are having a Dakota Center block party at 33 Barnett Street in Dayton. Go there. They have lots of things to pass out for the kids during that festival, for school supplies, etc. Go there and meet up with your neighbors. You know, I think there's going to have to be some food there. Have a great time, and think about that vaccination. From our public health, here's some tips that our public health is encouraging everybody to consider at this point in time. It says our clinics are most crowded during the first hour. Come later to avoid the crowds and save time. So when we say like the time starts at 4, maybe you go at 5 or 6. Of course, vaccinations are free of charge, and they're open to our residents 12 and older. We also have really great options with our pharmacies, and that's something if you go to their websites, you can see what they're offering and when they're offering that. Of course, our public health has a really nice website that everything is collected on. So it looks like everybody from our community health centers, CVS, Discount Drug Mart, Five Rivers Health Center, Kettering Health Network, Kindred Hospital, Kroger, Meyer Pharmacy, Premier Health, the State of Ohio Vaccine Provider List, and Zix Pharmacy. They're all providing vaccines in Montgomery County. That is so wonderful. Hopefully everybody has easy access to that. So making sure, you know, if you do need help with that, I would say call public health if transportation is an issue, so that you can find out what they're encouraging people to do with that as well. And let's look at how it spreads, because that's one thing, you know, I'm constantly watching the news going, what do I need to do now? Because with the variant, there's different things that are going on. And so this is what currently, as of today, which is July 20th, 2021, this is what our public health of Montgomery County is currently encouraging all of us to do. Okay, so there is currently no vaccine to prevent hold on. Okay, so the best way to prevent illness is, so this is actually, the best way to prevent illness is to avoid being exposed to this virus. This virus is spread mainly from person to person, so trying to avoid that close contact as much as we can. Making sure, you know, and they're encouraging us to wear masks, washing our hands, using sanitizers while still avoiding touching our eyes, our nose, and our mouth, and of putting distance between you and other people. So some of these things are just really just safety, you know, for illnesses as well, just illness in general. So making sure that we try to practice, like say, good hygiene. Whether that is, you know, just, you know, making sure that we wash our hands, especially if we know that we've like touched certain parts of our body. We've like opened a door and maybe other people have touched that door, making sure that we use our hand sanitizer then. But that's something. What are some thoughts that you have, Adina or Trent, about like just being safer these days around like say COVID-19?
Oh, I see one. It says, stay home if you're sick. Stay home. Even now that things are opening up, take time. Let people ride the elevator if they want all together, but you ride it by yourself or take the stairs. Just try to do everything you can for yourself to stay safe.
Yeah. And I think keeping up what we've been doing with the hand washing, keeping the hand washing going. What I've even heard from my own doctor is that there's been less cases of regular flu because people have been so good about washing their hands, using sanitizer, and, you know, helping ourselves. So I think that's something that we just need to continue to do to just keep us healthy and keep the people we love around us healthy.
I love what they did with the copy machines at work. Continue to wipe down surfaces that we touch. Carry some of your own wipes. If those have been removed, let's keep some of those good practices in place. Let's not let it lift. Because again, like she said, the influenza and the common cold even can be passed along, excuse me. So it's important to keep up the practices that we learned that helped keep us safe.
Absolutely.
And if you feel like you might have COVID, make sure that you get tested. You know, check your temperature daily too, making sure like, hey, especially if you're not feeling well, just making sure that you have those good habits and that you keep checking, and that if you need to visit the doctor, go ahead and do that.
Absolutely.
Oh, and last but not least, as Dina was saying, and this, I know she was talking about the copier, but making sure that we clean regularly, especially in our homes. You know, shared areas. Make sure we keep that as clean as possible, because that helps to reduce the spread of any kind of germs as well.
Oh my goodness, I just thought of one. Ink pens, give them away, throw them away, wipe them down, and cell phones. Ew, touch screens. So it's very important to think about even the remote. There's so many things we touch, of course, but we could go all into detail and become germaphobes, which we all have slightly learned that they know what they're talking about, don't they? It's important to keep these surfaces clean from the microbial agents. So, but we you know, we're going to be all right. I want to bring good news up to, you know, we're still here because of the good practices people have been doing. So.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, but as we move forward with our podcast, we have a couple things about managing stress today. We had our enhanced quality of life lesson today, and but at this time, I do want to mention that we had a wonderful guest, Bruce Barcelo, today from the Atomos board. He talked a lot about smoking and becoming smoke-free. Kind of just sharing with us so many rich ideas about how to do that. And I just wanted to share one thing that stood out to Trent. She wanted to talk about one of the programs that he brought up. It was called what?
X program.
X program.
Yes. And he brought that up, and I was actually doing the Zoom call, and I decided to just kind of look this up. And you can go to the Montgomery County Atomos Board's website, and you just put in X program, EX, next word, program, and it brings it up. And this is an amazing program that is free, and you just join it, you go to a website, and in this website they have all sorts of things that they can help you do. They have such support. They have community. They have a whole community that you can go and get support from and talk to people. The other thing I heard was so cool was that if there are you know, patches or gum or things like that, they will deliver those to your home. I was so impressed with that.
That was, yeah.
It's such a supportive program, and I need anyone who might be interested, just look up EX program, and you can find that information on the Atomos board website. So
What caught my eye, Trent, it was right there on the slideshow there, said HIPAA. So that means to me that my personal information is going to remain private.
yes,
So because that's one thing, you know, we all want to make sure that everything that we do, like, is just for us, you know. And so that's what I love about that. And like I love that idea about the free items.
yeah,
That I don't know how much all that cost, but that's a good chunk of money, I do believe.
yes,
Yes.
absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
right. Oh, yeah. Smoking cigarettes is a cost in itself, right? We talked about $7 a pack now.
Right.
He mentioned about $12,000 a year in loss just to cigarette smoking. So that is very important. But I want to take a little break here and do a commercial excerpt for Oak Street Health Center. I don't know if you all have heard of Oak Street Health Center, but they're a nice program, Doctors for Adults on Medicare. They have a great representative. Her name is Davina Williams. Very, very personable director. Her number is 937-520-7443. She shared with our team that they provide transportation to doctor's appointments and different things, and they advocate for your wellness. So please reach out to oakstreethealth.com. Choice of in-person, phone, or video visits help navigating your Medicare benefits. They have a 24/7 support line for around-the-clock care, preventative care plans to meet your health goals, and again, rides to and from center appointments, and connections to trusted insurance agents. Again, that is Oak Street Health.
All right. Hey, so you know what? I would love to share some information about a great program at Goodwill Easter Seals, and it is their CSEP program, which is their Senior Community Service Employment Program. And at Goodwill, this program is great. It provides employment options for mature, talented group of workers with work ethics, enthusiasm, life experience that are essential for today's workforce. And it's a wonderful program. And the people who would be eligible for this program would be someone who would be at least 55 years or older, right? Experience barriers to employment, may have struggles trying to get employment, have limited or low income, and are unemployed. And we've met some wonderful CSEP participants, and they just seem to love the program, and it helps. It's helping this age group get back into the workforce. And for me, I think it's so important. It's so important. When I went back to work, I was older. I was in my late 40s or early 50s, actually, when I started Goodwill. And getting back into the workforce from something, that is a wonderful service to help folks who are trying to change their lives.
Absolutely. And we enjoy working with the CSEP members. They also attend our WISE classes and learn and inform community around our program, which is WISE, the Wellness Initiative for Senior Education. So please contact us at Goodwill Easter Seals if you are interested in joining a 6-week class with several different topics. And our number here at Goodwill Easter Seals is, I should know that one. Hold on. You can call 1-877-363-3303. That's 1-877-363-3303. And we'll find another number for you locally in just a moment. Oh, I have one here. It is 937 for CSEP, actually, 461-4800. That's 461-4800. And you can find us there as well. Ask for the prevention team. All right. So as we were going through today in our WISE program, talking about the enhanced quality of life, we talked about one of the key things was managing stress. And I'm just going to read our prevention team life skills newsletter. I just want to talk a little bit about managing stress and the things we can do. Managing stress can help you lead a more balanced, healthier life. Stress is an automatic physical, mental, and emotional response to a challenging event. And we're all going through challenging events right now, right, with the pandemic. But when used positively, stress can lead to growth, action, and change. But negative long-term stress can lessen your quality of life. Here are a few tips to help each of us cope, especially during this pandemic. Want to check in with yourself? Listen to what your mind and body are telling you. Drink more water. Make healthy choices around eating. Stay moving. Maintain a daily routine with sleep, consistent sleep. Gail talked about that earlier, and activity patterns. Stay connected. Use the media platforms to stay in contact with friends and loved ones. Practice gratitude daily. Read more and write in a journal, and that pertains to goals and thinking about your future and all the wonderful things you'd like to do that you've waited for 2.5 years to do. Put that vacation down, right? So I will have Gail and Trent talk a little bit more about stress if they want to, or go on to the next topic of how to manage stress with your newsletter.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to look at the 5 benefits of exercise on our well-being. First, it helps with depression and anxiety. Exercise is a scientifically proven mood booster and often can decrease symptoms of both depression and anxiety. No amount of exercise is too small. A small walk can be a great way to start. You don't know where to start? Talk to your medical doctor about the best way to start an exercise plan. And even if it's just 5 minutes. Even if maybe you just do some chair exercises. Maybe you just dance to a song on the radio. That's that movement, making sure that you try those things out and keep moving. It's such a valuable thing. It decreases stress. Another benefit of exercise is the reduced stress levels. Increasing your heart rate and getting the blood flowing can improve your cognition and mood as well as thinking. And I know I definitely feel that whenever I exercise. I feel just that release. It feels better. I'm in a better mood. Wow.
That is so beneficial. You said when you get moving, you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
You like walking, don't you?
I love walking. I love dancing. But yeah, what's your favorite way to move? What's your favorite way to move, Trent?
Oh, I like my recumbent trike. My husband and I get to go out recumbent triking sometimes, and we love that. We just get on the road, and it feels good, and it's even hot out. You're moving, and you feel the cool air, and so we don't even let the heat deter us.
Yeah.
Getting out there. Yeah.
Dina, what's your favorite way to move?
I like group exercises like Zumba and aerobics, dance exercising. So that's really fun to me, especially because I know it makes me sweat. I feel like there's progress when I sweat. So
Great,
Yes.
great. But as Bruce said so wonderfully in our show, finding that thing that brings you joy, that you love to do. So making sure you find that for yourself. The next thing is increased self-esteem and self-confidence. It's one of the many benefits of physical activity that boosts our body, mind, and soul. What a value right there. Next thing is better sleep. I want better sleep all the time. I just want to make sure that I get lots and lots of sleep. We need 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night for people 55 and up. That when I read that, I'm like, that's as much as a teenager needs. So we need a lot of sleep to make sure that we rest and that we're ready for our day. It also getting that exercise helps us to calm down and hopefully have a more restful sleep. Also, Bruce suggested, I love Bruce's suggestions, making sure we don't watch television when we go to sleep.
yes. Oh, that's a big one.
And then what about our cell phones? Oh, no.
Turn them off at least an hour before, right, for the blue light, all of the computer things, or your mind will continue while you sleep and you won't be rested. Okay. But what else about family and connecting with children? Oftentimes we don't step away and just play with kids anymore. Kids don't play. So I want Trent to talk a little bit about what do you have there?
Well, this is, from another one of our prevention team newsletters, and our summer newsletter talks about, staying active and in the summer and getting out and enjoying the fresh air and everything. And, what it is that, physical activity is really healthy for kids. And I think sometimes even when we get the kids moving, we move too. So it's a little benefit, right, for us? But kids need around 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous activity every day And it sounds like a lot, but think about it. There's so many different ways that they can get that exercise. And, it all adds up. It all adds up. So, and, all of those benefits that you talked about, they relate to these, for our young folks too. They feel less stressed. They feel better about themselves. They feel more ready to learn in school or anything like that. It keeps healthy weight for them and helps build those healthy bones and muscles and joints. And the sleep, those kids need a lot of sleep too, right? So that helps them. So some fun activities, just get out, swimming, basketball, frisbee. Get your kids out to the park, right? But another thing is like being creative and finding things that we can do, painting, taking pictures of photography. That's something that I took a lot of pictures this weekend with my kids. Doing scrapbooks, all sorts of things like that. What about board games? I love board games
Yes.
and finding things like that.
Just making up my own rules with the board games.
There you
So
go.
fun.
What did we play?
Yeah.
Name that tune the other day. We just had
Yeah.
some fun.
Yes,
Minute
yes.
to win it games.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
So I think not only keeping our body moving, but also keeping our minds moving and makes us want to get out and do more things. So yeah, absolutely. Keep the kids active and we'll stay active with them. How's that?
I love it.
This is such an amazing team, and all these newsletters and programs just are so rich. But I wanted to go around the room, and if we have any resources we'd like to share before we go that stands out to us that we want everybody to know about, let's just take a look and share a couple or, that stand out to you for our community today that's tuning in. Oh, she found one.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'd like to talk about the wonderful, wonderful Matter of Balance program. The tagline is managing concerns about falls. Many older adults experience concerns about falling and restrict their activities. A Matter of Balance is an award-winning program designed to manage falls and increase activity levels. What a great thing. And so this is offered in many, many of our community centers, churches, and anywhere where anybody 55 and older meets. And our wonderful Sharon Mitchell, supervises this program. She trains people to facilitate the program. And it says, you will learn that view falls as controllable, set goals for increasing activity, make changes to reduce fall risk at home, and also exercise to increase strength and balance. Who should attend? That's a great question. Anyone concerned about falls, anyone interested in improving balance, flexibility, and strength, anyone who has fallen in the past, and anyone who has restricted activities because of falling. To learn more about this wonderful program, please call Sharon Mitchell at 937-528-6359. Again, that's Sharon Mitchell at 937-528-6359.
Awesome. Did you have anything you wanted to share, Trent?
I wanted to bring up our Miami Valley Warm Line. That's a wonderful resource that helps people connect with different resources that they may need. If they're in having some anxiety or just have some questions about things, it's not a crisis line, but it's a line that helps people maybe deal with some family issues or anything like that. When you call the Miami Valley Warm Line, they have all sorts of resources that get you connected. Sometimes it's really overwhelming when you have a problem and you just don't know where to start, and that's a great place to start. So the Miami Valley Warm Line is open Monday through Friday from 11 until 7, and the number is 937-528-7777. Call them if you need anything.
Awesome. And what I wanted to close with is we always like to have fun when we come together and enjoy our time. Even our work, is fun. So I wanted to share some things about activities with music. We have a newsletter even from Goodwill that's sharing some activities about music at the Phrase. And you can go to phrase.com to check about the events that are going on. But it looks like on Thursday, that's this week, wow. On the 22nd, it says, join us at the Phrase for Hairball, a tribute to a band, Arena Rock of the 80s, performing songs from the Guns N' Roses AC/DC journey and many others. So if you're interested in that, looks like taking the stage on Friday, July 30th is regional favorites, the Menus, performing 70s and 80s classic rock songs with a unique, fun stage show. And then this goes even further. In August, national performing artist Uncle Kracker performs all of his hits, including top 10 Billboard hits, Follow Me and Drift Away, on Friday, August 20th. Get your dancing shoes on for the final concert of the 2021 series as Disco Inferno returns to the Phrase, performing all of the classic disco tunes. That's Monday, August 30th. So again, you'll have to tune in to the Phrase. And I know Gail loves going to concerts. I'll let you close up and share anything about the fun in town. We need to find all our resources about fun and look them up.
Absolutely. And Gina, what I love is that we have the Levitt. It's rich with music. It has everything from R&B music, hip hop, country, rock, opera, kids music. I mean, everything in between. Absolutely free. That's what I love about it. They just had the Blues Fest this past Sunday. And so they do have they have a schedule. You can go online to look at it, but every Thursday, every Friday, every Saturday until the end of September, there is a free music event outside here in Montgomery County and downtown Dayton. So please go there, enjoy that. What a great resource we have with that.
That's right. Get some sunshine. Any closing remarks?
I just want to share that it's just great to be on this team, and I just love how we can share this information and just kind of enlighten maybe people and help them maybe find resources and just start enjoying life. Just get out there and just embrace your life as it is. Embrace your life.
That's right. Thank you all so much. I'm just so happy to be here as well. That will conclude our podcast for our Whys. We hope to see you all soon. But again, it's the Wellness Initiative for Senior Education with Goodwill Easter Seals and Yamada of Dayton. You all have a wonderful rest of your day and be well.